I really loved your idea to do a recording to make it a little bit more personal and very practical, and also a little bit more nuanced than what I would usually blog post about at the VC Coach, where I actually help VC professionals in their personal career objectives, be it staying in VC, becoming a partner, or maybe venturing out, be doing some freelance work, or some VCs also start their own startups. So I want to share those stories, inspire others. And I think it's really inspiring that you have dared to take a leap of faith. And I want to share your story with others out there who have been thinking about this as well. So maybe you want to start off by introducing yourself, your background, and maybe what you do now as well.
Yes, of course. So, hi, Anieke. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. My name is Martina. I'm based in Vienna, in Austria, and I've been working with founders in this way or another for more than 10 years. I started as an M&A advisor or an investment banker in Czech Republic, in Prague, and then last few years of my career before I ventured out on my own, and there you have a bit of a spoiler, so that's definitely a very topic close to my heart. So I was a VC investor at a Series A fund based here in Vienna, and we invested in health, in insurtech, many interesting verticals. It's been a great experience. But since last year, I've decided to start my own company called Next Play, and we advise founders now hands-on. We are an advisory company, and we help them with preparing for exit, so strategic exit, M&A.
That's so cool. And I love the name. And when you say we, is it just you who started this, or do you have somebody else that you're doing it together with?
Well, actually, I started on my own. But since the beginning of this year, I'm working together with two team members. Actually, we are all ladies, so it's all female team. And now it's the three of us working together. So
exciting. So you're also growing a lot. That's really nice. Yeah. And I'm curious because the last time we spoke, I think it was like Q4 2024, and you were still at your former fund. I was curious because a lot of people, of course, one of the bigger questions when you're in VC is like, do I want to become a partner or not? And I'm curious if you want to share, maybe give a little bit of color. What were your considerations? Why did you or did you not want to become a partner back then?
Yes, I mean, I remember that call we had, and it was definitely a moment when I had a lot of options in front of me and I had to make a decision. And I will tell you what was it and how I made that decision. So I guess I could say there were two or even three main factors that helped me make a decision. First was business. So business way of thinking, right? So I believe that in VC industry, the fund that I worked at, we were, first vintage, but we did really well. We've made some really exciting investments. Clearly, VC formula still can work. But when I take a step back and look at the European landscape, I had a sense that there's way too many VC funds already. And I a little bit have a sense that, and I know this is a bit controversial opinion, but I wonder how the math works, if there's enough unicorns out there to generate a return on a fund. And especially if you're starting out as an emerging manager. And for myself personally, I thought, well, it's quite a risky play to be in and a lot of uncertainty. And we all know it takes maybe even 7 years, right, to learn whether you're good at it or not, if you made the right bets or not. And to me, I always compared that route to the route of being an M&A advisor. So as I mentioned to you before, I spent most of my career in this sector, and there the dynamic is very different because you're not investing, you're actually advising the founder hands-on. And to me personally, that was much more exciting, and I felt like I could bring more value to the market, to the founders. I really enjoy, when I can build a relationship and trust with the founder. And, as an investor, of course, you get to do that as well, but it's very different when as an investor, the founder kind of has to tolerate you, right? Because you invested. But as an advisor, it's really down to your own skills and know-how, whether you keep on being on the side of the founder or not. So the feedback is immediate. You can immediately learn, am I adding value? Is this working? and the sense of being there for the founder and seeing how much he starts to trust me and rely on me, that's so exciting and so rewarding. And I just really longed for that sort of, let's say, business model or opportunity to work with startups, which is quite different than the VC one. And of course, there was also an option to start my own business, from become a founder myself. But what happened, and then I'm going to the second point, what made me make this decision was really a circumstance. So the fund I worked at was undergoing a lot of transition. They were changing their LP structure, changing their investment strategy, moving maybe towards more growth and private equity angle, which, yeah, it was a lot of uncertainty there, I would say, for my own career trajectory. And on the other hand, I was approached by my former M&A clients asking, Martina, are you available? We would like to work with you again. We have new project, new company. We need your advice. So I think that, the second reason that sort of like really was the final one that made me pull the trigger was the immediate opportunity and clear path that I could see in the M&A advisory. And this is what I would recommend anyone if you're trying to make a switch from one career to another, from employment to freelancing or your own business, is to definitely prepare the pipeline and have something concrete to rely on after you finish your employment. So this made the decision then much easier. But if it wasn't for the circumstance, I would probably start reaching out and testing the market and build that pipeline right from scratch.
I see. Very interesting. And what kind of soul searching did you do before you went for it and pulled the trigger? What did this process really look like for you? Were there maybe any doubts or monsters that you could see on the road that you had to overcome before you actually said, yes, I do it?
Well, yes, of course. I think that maybe, to get that sense of clarity and confidence in your decision, I had to answer probably 3 questions, and this is nothing new. This is, I think, a very well-known Venn diagram somewhere on the internet, but I really lived it. I speak it from my heart when I think of it. So at that point, I asked myself, first of all, what is it that I love to do? And I love to advise people, right? And more than anything else, I don't know, I just feel happiest when I can share my experience with somebody and help them on their journey. So this is my thing. Secondly, I knew that I'm quite okay at it. Like, I have some track record, I have experience, so I have some feedback from the markets, from my past experiences. I've been helping with M&A also as a VC. And so I knew in the eyes of the founders that I added value, right? For whatever, extent it was, there's something I can offer. And the third point, and this is essential, so because these two were sort of like inward looking, right? You have to self-analyze, think very well through what are your skills, strengths, what are you passionate about, have you actually tried doing it? Does it work? That sort of thing. It's very introspective. But then, the third step is going to the market and seeing whether people actually want to pay for it, right? And whether you can make a living out of it. So that was sort of also one step that helped me to make this decision and gave me that clarity and confidence.
That's really nice. Actually, the Venn diagram that you're talking about, I know it because there's actually a fourth one. So it's called the Ikigai framework, about purpose. So it's like what you're good at. That's the first one. What you love to do, the second one. What the world needs, that's kind of like the fourth one, I think, that you didn't mention yet. And then the fourth one is like, what can you get paid for? So how would you say that the world needs this as well, the fourth category?
Very good question. I think so, because, being an M&A advisor, like when you think about selling your company, let's put ourselves into the shoes of the founder. You spend your whole life building this company. It could be bootstrapped. It could be that you had investment. You dedicate so much of your energy. We can all imagine the feeling how founders are deeply invested into their companies, and then when they decide they want to sell it, it's a situation that they rarely have found themselves in before. So it often is a little bit even scary or uncertain. And then there's always this question of, am I certain that I'm ready for the exit? And secondly, am I doing everything I can to get the best terms? Because I'm going to sell it just once. There's no, additional round where the valuation gets, refined. Or with fundraising, it's like a repeated game. With exit, there's just this one event. So this is where I come in. I help them have that peace of mind and clarity and confidence. And it makes me the happiest when I see a founder that has the great exit experience and then he's ready to start maybe building something new, right? Because he had a positive conclusion on his first project. So I believe yes, but this is open for discussion.
No, I think it's definitely helpful. Like if I think about it, what I'm doing with the VC coach, like helping people with what keeps them awake at night, is exactly what you're doing also for founders. Maybe a little bit more focused on, let's say, the content and really like bringing this skill set versus where I'm asking more questions to help people guide to their next steps as well. Very nice. And I can imagine a lot of people are listening to this and they're also considering, should I not? You already gave so many great tips so far, but is there anything else that you would give as advice for somebody who's doubting, either maybe to start their own practice, maybe to start freelancing? And what do you think are typical skills that, for example, somebody who is currently in VC who considers to become a freelancer, what are skills that they can typically market for others?
Yes, to your first question, should I or shouldn't I? I think it's, it's quite normal, I would say, and human to have doubts and insecurity. I mean, I still have it, right? I also started this company. We are doing well, but I also wonder every day, should we focus on this? Should we do that? So dealing with uncertainty is sort of part of our life. Even when you're employed, you have some level of uncertainty. So I think you always have to step back. And I, as a person coming from a finance background, I always try to distill that uncertainty into something concrete. So, there's usually some sort of fear behind it. Like, am I, for example, one of my common fears was, will I be able to sustain myself, right? And so that really then translates to what I said already at the beginning. Make sure you have this pipeline and concrete opportunities that are ready to be locked in when you pull the trigger. That really, I think, alleviates a lot of that uncertainty because you already got the feedback from the market that your service has value or your product. It's valued, it's needed, and you're sort of safe in a way, right? That's let's say one concern. I think it's quite common. For any other sort of concerns, I would say, I guess you just have to learn to live a little bit with that uncertainty and shifting, market and trends. And I always ask myself, whenever I have a certain decision ahead of me, what would 90-year-old Martina sitting on the porch drinking some lemonade, what would she say about this moment looking back? And I want to make sure I don't have any regrets. So that's, I think, also a powerful way whenever I'm dealing with some uncertainty or just it really helps to have that perspective. No regrets, right? So that's maybe my second advice. And
I think to add to that, what I really love about that way of living, this almost growth mindset and not being scared of failing, because I think a lot of VCs, they want to do everything right. They don't make mistakes. They're not really allowed to make mistakes, and that's exactly that's the mindset that you need to have as an entrepreneur, right? To sort of enjoy and grow. And I love the name of your company also, Next Play, because if you think about it, being a little bit more playful about it and playing and learning and failing and enjoying the failing is really the way to go, I think. So I don't know if you chose that consciously, but it's a good company name.
Yes, I agree with you completely. It is about trying and failing as well. I think, yes, in this mindset where we come from as career VCs and investment professionals, we have a bit funny relationship with failure, and that's something you have to get comfortable with. To me, I don't even like the word failure necessarily. It's open market. You try and put something out on it. It either sticks or it doesn't. But to me, the moment when you get that feedback that something maybe doesn't stick, of course, like when it's successful, oh, it's amazing. It's such a thrill, you get really high. You think you're like the queen or king of the world. That's clear. But when the feedback is, let's say, constructive, and your offering doesn't stick, I think that's also super valuable. To me, imagine you get feedback immediately, right? And you can learn, you can adjust, you can get better. And that's really valuable. And I think that, being an employee in a large entity company, you sometimes lack that immediate contact with the market. And maybe for some people, it's not the most comfortable place to be in, but for some, it can really be an exciting place to be where, there's just you and your skills, and you have to learn if there's something lacking. And that's totally fine. It's actually really exciting because it's just a matter of time before you hit that spot and become successful. But it takes, a lot of, I think, thick skin and perseverance, and it can be fun. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Very nice. I have one curiosity question that I have to ask. What surprised you most after making the leap?
Okay, I guess maybe a lot of things, but what surprises me, or maybe I expected as well, but it is still a surprise, just how much it's important to have a certain mindset, right? How entrepreneurship, it's a mindset. And maybe as an investor, I didn't even realize, working with founders, how strong and resilient they have to be, and how much, self-confidence and courage it takes to build your business. And now that I'm in that seat, I am in awe of all other founders that, they've been able to be successful. It's not an easy journey. And so I think, just the mindset of an entrepreneur, I'm living it now, and I have really fullest respect for everybody who's going for the journey of entrepreneurship.
I will be cheering you on as well. And thank you so much for sharing your journey. I'm sure it will open up a lot of insights and hopefully doors also for people listening or reading it. And maybe final question is, how can people reach you if they need maybe an M&A advisor, or if they want to learn more from you? What's the best way they can connect?
LinkedIn, I think it's the easiest way. There you also have more details on how you can contact me. So feel free to reach out.
Perfect. Thank you so much, and keep being playful.
Thank you so much for having me.
Ciao.